good, everybody? It is your girl, Tika Deshawn of All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts, here to give you guys my episode recap of Tyler Perry's The Oval from Season 5, Episode 13, entitled A Snake in the Grass. And the episode's description reads as follows. Hunter is ready to go to any length to regain his power. Meanwhile, tension inside the White House is at an all-time high. With his back against the wall, Jason must decide who he can trust and who he can't, y'all. What's good, y'all? Again, it's your girl, Tika Deshawn of All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. And oh my God, the Oval was absolutely crazy. But of course, your girl, Tika Deshawn, is always here for the shenanigans. We see that there is a moment where Donald is like, I'm about ready to go home, bump Victoria, I'll get with her later. Kyle comes in and lets him know that Victoria has been locked out of the Oval and that, the president ain't feeling her right now. So we move on and we see that there is a moment where Donald, of course, he's definitely going to leave, but we also see a moment where we see that Jason has made his way to Alan's home. And I guess you're wondering, how the heck did he get in there? Well, the answer to that question, he actually climbed up into using that fire escape and made his way into Alan's bathroom. So Alan is like, you can't be here. You can't be here. That means they're going to come here. And Jason's like, well, they've already come here the first time. I don't think they're going to double back and come back again. So Jason, it makes a little bit of sense what he's saying, but then he's like, Alan is like, man, you gotta leave. But then he almost has like a quick heart for Jason, and they go into the living room and they're talking. At first he's telling him, you gotta leave, but then Dale wakes up and Dale is like, man, who is that? And then he's like, is that the president's son? Of course, yes, of course it is Jason, the president's son, and he is definitely in your presence, which means that there could be more trouble for you guys. So Dale is like, man, F this. I'm out of here. I can't, it's already enough going on. I am out of here. And he proceeds to put on his jacket. And before he actually leaves, Alan is like, man, would you please just fix him something to eat? This boy said he wants some ahi fish or something. He said he is not accustomed to this way of life. He's not accustomed to basically being broke, and not having servants to prepare food for him or anything like that. So Dale is like, nah, I'm out, just like I said. So he proceeds to put on his jacket, and up and behold, who is at the door? His bae, his boo thing, the one and only Kyle. Now listen, Dale for once, this time, y'all, I thought that he would be like, oh my God, kind of like snitching a little bit, but he kind of played it cool. And I think he did that. He definitely spared Alan as well as Jason, because they don't know Jason is there. So he spared them. And of course, Alan told Jason that Dale was cool. Like, he's with us. So anyway, Dale plays it off. He ends up going home with Kyle. Now, of course, he didn't want to, but I guess maybe he's going to play along and do what the FBI says and try to basically get all the information from Kyle that he can get. Listen, if I were Dale, I would be nervous to even walk or crawl anywhere with Kyle. So he tells him, like, well, you can ride with me. I'll take you and, save gas. That's Kyle with his comedic side. And he's like he's really feeling Dale. But I'm like, again, I'm also afraid for Dale, because if Donald finds out that Dale is kicking it with Kyle, that could also pose a problem. Donald is very, very disgustingly jealous and will unalive a person just for the sake of it. So I'm going to keep my fingers and toes crossed for Dale. Hopefully nothing will happen to him, and maybe he can get some information for the FBI. I'm hoping that's his plan. So then we see that the agent who is in handcuffs, who has been placed in handcuffs by Lily because he's a wimp, and he got hit over the head with a glass. Uh, he gets hit by Donald because Donald basically, just as I thought, how could you let somebody, how could you let her take over? How could you let her overpower you? And where's your man's? And she's telling Donald, he's gone. And of course, that Donald is like, "Oh well, we'll find him." I'm so sick of Donald messing around or hurting everybody that just because. But this agent ends up getting popped in the stomach, and so listen, y'all, we have a moment where we find out who the double agent is. We find out who is feeding Priscilla all of her information. Now, it turns out it's Alonzo, where he goes to her house and tells her the 411 from head to toe. He tells about the president, finding or catching Victoria and Eli getting it in. Like, he is just spilling all the beans. And she's like, you should have led with that. Like, he told her some other not as important information, but then came back around and circled it up and doubled it up with information about Eli and Victoria. And she was like, you should have just led with that. You should have started with that. So anyway, then we see that someone is on Priscilla's porch, and oh my goodness, we're like, who's there? But it ends up being Nancy. Now Nancy decides she's going to leave her own home, simply because of everything that she acknowledges that she has put Richard through some stuff. And she's just like, it's better off that I leave. And of course, Priscilla's like, girl, yeah, you can come on and stay. And, it's just me here. And you can just take the bedroom upstairs. And so she does that. But prior to doing that, once Nancy is out of the way, then we see Priscilla get on the phone, and oh my God, she of course is spilling the tea and letting Simone know, girl, I'm sorry to tell you, but your man has been messing around, and yes, it was with Victoria. And the way that you prove that is true is you have him get as close to you as you can and sniff him, and if you smell her on him, you know he has been with her, and you know how she smells. And you will know that she has been with your man all day long. And as soon as she says that, she plays it off, but Eli walks into the room. She plays the game that Priscilla told her to play. Get close to him so you can smell him. He didn't want her to kind of touch her, to touch him. He needed to take a shower, etc. And so she knows that her man has been messing around with Victoria, and she is furious, but she can't let in how furious she is. So then we see that Sam and Max are having a conversation, basically just trying to put two and two together, saying that we gotta have this meeting at this warehouse, and we've also got to, you got to include Bobby Baby. Now listen, Sam is not really feeling Bobby, but he knows that he's gotten some information that has to be revealed, and they got to tell all of that information. Basically, probably going to take all that information to the FBI at the end of the day. So then we see Nancy on the phone, and she's just calling to ask Sam if he would go to the bar. Said that Richard is at the bar and he is drunk as a skunk. Please pick him up and take him home. And of course, Sam, he says, of course he agrees and says, okay, I'll do this, that. And then of course he has a moment where he's asking, how's Priscilla? And she says, Priscilla is fine. I'm at your house. And so I'm at Priscilla's house. She didn't even say your house. I'm at Priscilla's house. So now Sam literally is homeless, and he acknowledges that later on. But then we see Donald, and he is on the phone because Victoria has finally caught up with him. And he really didn't want to answer the call from Victoria, but he went ahead and did it. And she was like, and I'm basically homeless. He put me out of the Oval. And he was telling her it's like 140 plus more bedrooms in that place. There's more than one room for you to sleep in. Just go to one of those rooms until he, can calm down. And so she's like, but you need to get back up here at the White House. Now, Donald, you better not go back to that White House, because you're going to probably get locked up right along with your girlfriend, Victoria. Your good sis, Victoria. So anyway, you guys, we see Richard at the bar, and he is literally drunk as a skunk, slurring his words. But out of all of that, of course, he lets Sam know how emotional and upset he is about what Nancy and his father has done. But then he also goes back to thinking, I am so worried about Barry. I don't know where Barry is. I go to the morgue almost every day. I go to the jails. I go to the hospitals almost every day, and I can't seem to find Barry. I need your help. I need you to help me find Barry. And he agrees. Sam agrees he's going to do everything that he can to help Barry, but then he's to help find Barry. But then he said something, well, maybe Barry decided to run away. Like, Barry is a grown man. He don't need to run away. He doesn't really need to leave. Because I say this because of the fact that he's still looking for his daughter. He wants his daughter. And so anyway, you guys, I know what happens to Barry, but you guys have to stay tuned to find out how it all unfolds with Barry. So anyway, we see that the DEA agent who was tasked with lacing the drugs for the president with fentanyl, she makes her way to the White House. Now, I made a mistake on my last video saying that Victoria was sleeping with her husband, but in actuality, she was the one that has been sleeping with Antonio, simply because she and her husband are on the outs, and that's how she basically interacted with Antonio. What a small world. So anyway, she plays this clip for on her phone for Hunter, and lets him know, hey, this is your wife telling my husband to make sure that the drugs are laced with fentanyl. And she plays that recording, and Hunter is like, oh, so this B tried to take me out. Okay. All right. And then she's like, oh, well, Mr. President, if there's ever anything you need, I can do it for you. And he's like, oh, really? Is that true? Huh? How much would you do for me? So he says, he gets Alonzo gun. He tells Alonzo, give me your gun. And he does that. He gives him the gun, and he says to her, take this gun and go shoot my wife. And she's like, oh, no, I can't do that. That's just too far. I can't do that. So she's out, but the president allows her to go simply because she has provided the information that is needed to get Victoria, to take Victoria down. So he tells this new agent, which is nice and fine. Yes, Lord. Anyway, he tells this new agent, you did a good job. Now go find my wife, and I want you to not bring her, but drag her to me. And you guys, that was the end of the episode, but we did see in some previews that Victoria is going to come face to face with the president. We're also going to try to get Eli locked up, but Eli is going to have to go back and forth with Simone, saying that he's not messing with Victoria when we all know the truth. And Dale is going to have a conversation with Kyle in regards to, looks like he's going to get him pretty drunk. Maybe he can reveal some stuff. I don't know. Hopefully he'll be able to reveal some truths. But then we're going to see down in that jail cell, we're going to see Antonio as well as Kareem. And of course, Kareem is like, I'm not saying anything because I don't know anything. And Antonio's like, yeah, you know something. And then in walks Victoria, y'all. Victoria is locked up. She about to get locked up. She about to be behind the bars. I'm absolutely going to be here for it all. Come on, episode 14. Let's see Veronica or Victoria, y'all. Let's see Victoria behind those bars. I'm absolutely here for it all. Anyway, you guys, with that being said, thank you all so much for tapping in and tuning in with your girl, Tika Deshawn, of all things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. If you're new to my channel, finding your girl for the first time, please hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can receive reminders of new Ruthless content. If you are looking for a place to call your home, if you are looking for a place to call yourself a Ruthless Addict, you are in the right spot. Make sure you hit that subscribe button or even become a member. We'd love for you to become a member of our Ruthless Addicts home over here. All things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts, okay? All right, you guys, that's about it. Thank you so much, and you already know, stay ruthless.